to today's Samvadanam series. I'm in conversation with Srimati Sangeeta Namasivayam. She is a very well-established and renowned dancer who today shares her passion with young and aspiring dancers through her dance school, Kalpana Dance Theatre. For Sangeeta, dance is not some rarefied, exotic activity for far removed from the perceivable. Instead, dance has always been the manifest expression of the unmanifest impression. After having completed her early years of dance in Sri Lanka, Sangeeta then proceeded to one of the foremost centers of Bharatanatyam, the Kalakshetra College of Fine Arts, which was founded by Srimati Rukmini Devi Arundale, one of the contemporary greats of the Eastern culture. Trained by brilliant gurus in the true Guru Shishya Parampara, Sangeeta completed both the diploma and the post-diploma courses with first-class honors. Rukmini Devi once said of Sangeeta, she is highly intelligent and is a polished as well as an accomplished dancer. Words of praise are rarely heard from this great personality. She toured extensively with Kalakshetra and went on to work with the internationally renowned dance choreographer Chandralekha. With Chandralekha, she was involved in the creative and innovative explorations of Bharatanatyam. To enhance her understanding of movement and greater strength and suppleness, she took up the ancient martial art of Kalaripayattu. She has also been actively involved in the experiment of using dancers as a form of therapy for the mentally and physically handicapped. It would be no exaggeration to say that she has traveled widely as an ambassador of Indian classical dance. Dancing with joy, Sangeeta imbues technique and grammar with a sparkling quality, bristling with life. Her presentations are intense and emotionally charged. Her spirit is dance, rooted deep within the authenticity of the art. She carries the spirit with her and ignites the passion and enthusiasm in aspiring young dancers as well. In playing her role in sustaining the life of Bharatanatyam in a world of modernization, she trains her students with the same values that were ingrained into her when she first started to dance. Kalpana Dance Theatre, a young and vibrant Malaysian dance group, is the brainchild of its resident artistic director, Kalakshetra trained Sangeeta Namasivayam. She has successfully injected into Kalpana Dance Theatre that same professionalism, artistic execution, passion, enthusiasm, rigorous discipline, and unfailing commitment distinctive to Kalakshetra. Kalpana Dance Theatre strives to be in the forefront of Indian dance by consistently performing all over the world while holding performances in Malaysia, showcasing the dancing greats from other parts of the world. So impressive is the quality of Kalpana Dance Theatre's work that a significant affiliation with the Prachin Kala Kendra of Chandigarh, India quickly became a reality. Through Kalpana Dance Theatre, students can now achieve higher levels of technical competence and artistry. Welcome to Samvadanam. Thank you so much, Sangeeta, for joining us. I know you're a very, very busy person. Your timelines are, your time frames are completely different, but thank you so much for the warmth and, immediate acceptance of talking to us.
Thank you, Mridula, for inviting me on this beautiful platform, Samvadanam, to talk with you. I'm looking forward to our conversation.
Oh, absolutely. I'm sure the pleasure is ours. So, Akka, I just wanted to sort of start off. You have such a rich journey of training, learning, and putting this to use to your students for the future as well. You've been with some of the stalwarts as well, but when you go outside the shores of India, the interest to connect with their roots is always there, and this prompts children to learn classical arts. But the challenges faced by you in introducing these classical arts in a foreign land, I'm sure would have been many. Can you sort of, share your experiences, your biggest challenges, perhaps?
See, Mridula, I was born and brought up in Sri Lanka. So like every other Tamil child, my sisters and I were also sent for Bharatanatyam classes and music classes. At that time, our education primarily came from the home because there were no external influences like the television or social
Correct.
media. Mata Pita Guru Devam, Guru was the ultimate. She knew what was best for you, and we followed without question. After my graduation from Kalakshetra, I came back to Sri Lanka and I taught at the very institutions that I learned from. So this was what, while television was around at that time, it was still a time where students had implicit faith in their guru.
Absolutely.
Teacher knows what we ought to know and it will be taught in good time. Teacher will present us when she thinks we are ready to perform. So no questions asked. There was still a level of no confusion.
Correct.
Simple learning, you know. And then my education again from Kalakshetra was Gurukula based, you know. You're told and you learn.
Correct.
You are seen and not heard. Yeah. So from there, I moved to Australia for a period of time. We migrated, my husband and I. And my larger student population was from the Tamil migrant diaspora from Sri Lanka.
Right.
Now, this is where you see these young parents of these students who have had to make this incredible, like myself. We moved because of the ethnic issues in
violence and yes.
Yes. So nobody wanted to live. We were very happy. We were very comfortable. We had the perfect lives, but we had to move. So there were these young parents who were in a dilemma about and very concerned and even paranoia about their children losing their roots. So these parents would go to any end, Mridula. I had the greatest support from these young parents in Australia who would do anything to inculcate a little bit of cultural learning in their children.
Right.
You'd have mothers driving 1 hour, sitting in the car for 1 hour, driving back another hour, you know, and show times, this would happen till late night rehearsals. Both parents working, no support in the home, exhaustion, but parents would do their very best, you know, because they were so afraid. Then we come to these children who are taken away from their comfort education, upbringing, put in a new cultural, educational society where everything is different. And then you want them to excel in that atmosphere, but come home and be, or grow up the way we grew up in Sri Lanka.
Correct.
So this is the very first point of confusion. We are children.
Yeah.
Not wantingly, but this is how it is. And then, you know, Mridula, today children have, their primary focus is education. It is not easy, not the way you and I learned anymore. You know? So tremendous pressure. So they have to excel, you know, and it starts at grade 1. You know, study, be first in class. Otherwise, you're going to get nowhere, you know.
And so, the
competition. So with this, when a child comes into my dance class, I am so happy that she actually found the time to take that 1 hour to step into class. From there, I think our duty as a teacher is to inspire these children. We have to work backwards from our learning. So I tell you, you listen, works no longer. Now they are heard and never seen. Because the online classes, you'll see the camera off and you'll hear voices.
Oh God, yes, yes.
So I think primarily the teacher, student, there must be some kind of inspiration that this child wants to come back to class tomorrow. Okay, I have a lot of schoolwork to do, but no, I want to go to dance class. How do you inspire? That I think each teacher has to find her a way around.
Correct.
Each country has different limitations, different requirements, diverse issues to deal with. So I think that's, see, when a child walks in from an Australian social background child automatically puts a pottu, wears Indian clothes,
Right.
touches the feet of the guru. We're doing a Varnam on Muruga. Who is Muruga? The stories about Muruga. So unconsciously, an entire wholesome cultural education is taking place in dance class. So this is what, yes. So, and this, besides that, look at what all life's lessons that they're learning. They're learning to be confident. They're learning to carry themselves beautifully, their postures, teamwork, leadership qualities, you know, to think out of the box, you know, so take care of the younger ones, help the teacher to teach the junior groups. So life's lessons are huge. It's not just about beautiful Aramandis and Natyarambams anymore, Mridula. That will come automatically, you know. So I think Tamla solluvaangale Mridula vittu pidikkanum.
Ama, correct.
Today nama vittu dhaan pidikkanum. I pick my battles. I let go of the smaller issues, because if the bigger plan is in place, the smaller issues will fall into place.
Correct.
So ellathukku noi nama teachers madri, you know, panna mudiyadhu.
Right.
And today they have a wealth of knowledge so easily available to them. They don't need you and me anymore. They have Google Guru, they have YouTube Guru.
Very true.
So appo or ponnu time eduthu நம்ம கிளாஸ்க்குள்ள வர்றான்னா, for me that's my first achievement.
Correct.
Okay, so she has a major university exam. நம்ம விட்டு தான் படிக்கணும். She can't be regular for a little time. So idhula there is no need to we have to strike a balance. நாம தான் we have to strike a balance.
Correct.
And then Mridula, we are also parents. We have also raised children, and we have seen this whole process of growth.
Yeah.
See, I remember when I was in Kalakshetra, and I used to sometimes help out when I take a class when a senior teacher can't come in. Students coming in will look at my slippers outside the classroom and won't come in. Or they'll come in and say, I've got a stomachache, and sit down. I was a tigress. Tangadatathina 16 times. You stop, we start again.
Oh,
Star
wow.
jumps 200. You stop, we start again. There was no compromise. So from there, I have come a long way. So I think that evolution is necessary if a technology is so out there. And I learn a lot from my students too. If the communication, we have to keep it open. You know, technology, I'm zero. So there's a lot of things my students help me with. So that give and take is there. We are not friends. Boundaries are very clear.
Yes.
But we must be able to discuss and communicate.
And it's beautifully said, because you are a mature sounding board as well, right? You're not just friends, but you're a mature sounding board. If there is an issue, there is and most of them treat you as part of family. So that makes a huge difference as well.
Yeah. So it's not just about dance. They'll come to you about their boyfriends. Or what course do you think, teacher, I should take for university? So it's a whole relationship building process.
Yeah.
So that's where it starts with that word inspiration, Mridula. You know, if you get that right, so you have children with you from the time they were 4-5 years, then now you have your students' children coming to you.
Correct.
You know, so I think if we fight that evolution, then we are banging our head against a wall. It won't work. You know, and ipa teruvukku teru or teacher irukanga.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh, so there's no dearth for good teachers, you know. And I think another thing that is important is that the teacher needs to have sound knowledge of his or her art form. Because like you said, these children are so well read these days. They will throw you all kinds of questions and challenges, and you need to meet it. So for that, only your education. So we need to be updated. We need to be reading and, you know, keep above board to keep up with these young children. You know?
No, beautifully said. And in fact, you know, I'm going to circle back to where you said you take a huge step forward to make sure that these students come into your class. That itself, as you said, is a major victory, right? To get them into your class physically. But as a person who lives, say, outside India, how far do you think diplomacy centers, like embassies or cultural units, how do they help spread of arts, And what do you think that they can do better, perhaps? How do you feel that they can, given that you've been there for so many years, you've seen all different situations, how do you think they can help better as well?
So these diplomatic centers, high commissions, cultural centers are the backbone of the cultural community outside India. Actually, they are our very most important support system. If you look at Malaysia, it has a large, if not the largest Indian diaspora in the world. So with it comes many advantages and many challenges. Because this diaspora is not just even about culture, their needs are very diverse. So Malaysia, fortunately, and especially Kuala Lumpur, is a culturally very vibrant city, Mridula. We don't know where to choose, what to choose to go to. So every artist's prayer is that the next incoming head of mission will also be culture sensitive, culture friendly, culture supportive. But I must say, Malaysia has been very fortunate because we have had some phenomenal leaders of
Very
the mission.
nice. Very nice.
Starting from Sri Ashokanta ji, who mooted and initiated the cultural center idea, to Sri Vijay Gokhale ji, who saw the entire process through, to Sri T.S. Tirumurthy sir, who took the cultural center to another level, to our current High Commissioner, Sri Mridul Kumar ji, who embraces and supports culture wholeheartedly. Malaysia has been extremely lucky.
Wonderful.
So and the cultural center, the Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose Indian Cultural Center, named by PM Modi ji on his visit here, under the directorship of Mr. K. Ayanar, before the COVID, was hosting a cultural event every day of the year. Sometimes there were 2 to 3 events in a year.
Oh, wow.
So for me, I don't see what more they can do. And all these shows, most of them were supported by the ICCR, co-sponsored or co-supported by the ICCR. On a personal note, I have had the fortune of immense support, unstinted support from the missions in Malaysia, for which I'm very grateful. I have been the recipient of the Government of India grant for cultural associations overseas for the promotion of Indian culture from its inception. This is 12, 15 years already.
Right.
The cultural center has always been open to me to host my events. ICCR, we have performed in India several times on the invitation of the ICCR. So I have been very fortunate. I think eventually hard work, sincere work gets recognized. And like I said, we have had wonderful heads of missions here.
Right.
So that has helped. It's a two-way relationship, but Mridula, it doesn't happen one way.
Absolutely.
So that's there. And every proposal that I write in to the mission gets looked at. So I think that's a big job that they're doing out there. My only request is to the government of India that when they continue sending heads of missions to countries like Malaysia, that they will continue to choose heads who are able to cope with the diverse needs of our diaspora here. Because every country has different needs.
Correct.
So culture is a very big component of our diaspora here. Unlike, say, Denmark or Norway, or for example,
right.
Where maybe economics plays priority.
Correct.
So if we get a culture unfriendly head here, it's very hard.
Absolutely.
So that's my only request.
You also have a wonderful network of artists in Malaysia themselves. It's a very strong network of artists, so it really helps to have better support.
We have a large number of very talented artists, Mridula. So I think I think that's why. So, but we've been doing very well so far. Everything's been good, so nothing to complain about. But this, I hope the government of India will bear this in mind, that there are diplomats and diplomats, Mridula, but each diplomat is, the strengths are different. So our diaspora in particular needs a very, very able, strong leader. So, and the cultural center. Cultural center, we right now don't have a director because Mr. KINR has been posted to Trivandrum post-COVID. But, and anyway, nothing much is happening physically anymore.
True.
So, yeah.
And this year has been such a washout, you know, this year.
Culturally, yeah. But it's good, Mridula, for us to, because we are a non-stop train, you know.
Yeah.
So, so stop now. You know, rejuvenate and, you know, rethink. And I think it's good, that little space that we had. And now we'll go back completely fresh and, you know, otherwise this demand to produce continuously can also
have its negative effect, you know. Yeah, I think we've got some time to think, quieten down a bit as artists ourselves. Sometimes we need this quiet time, which we completely forget. And
I enjoy the quiet time, actually, you know. So, and then we're paying attention to teaching a little more now, because, you know, so we're full-heartedly there, because otherwise there's so many other performance-based distractions. So I think it is not just with dance. I think the whole thing needs to be reevaluated, life itself, no?
I agree. And it's always like, you know, like as you said, very aptly, like a train, to the next performance, to the next performance, to the next performance. It's never...
Because we need to be seen well. Otherwise, oh, Shangita is dead, or she's not no longer there, the next artist comes in. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And
it's like, who is Mridula now? She's not performing, or, you know, I don't think she exists as well. So yeah, all of these.
She's absent from Facebook for 3 months. Okay, out.
That is so true. But, you know, as a person who's so immersed in culture, local culture, and, you know, the local milieu, so it's a seeping of local ideas and incorporating elements of local cultures into your traditional art forms. Do they dilute the core of classical art?
Mridula, our classical dance forms have withstood the test of time. Our Indian classical dance forms are a very powerful medium of communication. There's absolutely no thought or idea that you cannot present through a dance form like ours. I think it's important to use this platform today to communicate, educate, discuss matters of relevance. Any idea or thought can be presented without diluting the art form, as long as its aesthetics are in line with the art form itself. We don't need to confuse ideas and presentation. Any idea can be presented through the classical art forms. Now, Malaysia is a melting pot of 3 different cultures, the Malay, Chinese, and Indian.
True.
The confluence of these 3 cultures can be creatively actually very beautiful. Why not? Once again, as long as the aesthetics of each art form is respected.
Right.
Now, Mridula, I come from a traditional learning background like Kalakshetra. So when I think of Atte or Srimati Rukmini Devi, what comes to my mind immediately is aesthetics. Because for Atte, aesthetics was a way of life. Everything about you must be beautiful. Talk nicely, walk gracefully, dress beautifully, think beautiful thoughts. Her primary energy was spent on molding young adults into good human beings. Her philosophy being, your art is a reflection of who you are. So if you're beautiful inside, beautiful dance is automatic. art without vulgarity is what she stood for.
Mm.
So coming from a background like this, these are the principles that primarily govern my creativity.
Right.
Then I had the opportunity of working with somebody like Chandralekha,
Right.
another phenomenal personality. Now, she refrained from doing the Alaripu Jatiswaram format, but never compromised on the technical perfection or technical beauty of Bharatanatyam or Kalari. Kalaripai,
Right.
these were the two forms that she used.
Correct.
She demanded Mridula the most perfect Aramandi and the most beautiful Natyaramam. She refused to work with dancers who did not have a sound technical grounding.
Background. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But she presented thoughts and issues that were relevant for that time.
Right.
So I think everything is possible for me as long as these boundaries are respected, aesthetics are respected. I am good with any fusion, contemporary, call it what you want. But Kalpana Dance Theatre, my dance company here, living in Malaysia for the last 30 years, it's inevitable that you do collaborate with the other
Right.
cultural races. They learn ours, we learn theirs. But again, as long as you pay attention to keep the aesthetics right, to keep the beauty, the discipline correct, I think there's no harm. I've also experimented with Kandyan dance and Bharatanatyam while we were living in Sri Lanka. Kalpana Dance Theatre has produced some very beautiful Odissi Bharatanatyam confluence presentations. See, India is so vast. Each state is like a country of its own.
Yeah,
You really don't need
that's
to
true.
go outside India looking for variety.
Yeah,
Even
very
between
diverse.
yeah, so between Bharatanatyam and Odissi, music is different, costumes are different, technique, though it's from the Natya Shastra, the whole thinking process is different. They see Krishna so differently to how we see Krishna,
Absolutely.
you know. So, and then we have done productions addressing current issues like women empowerment. So I think everything is possible as long as those there's no compromise on the art form itself. There's still so much we can do. We don't need to compromise the art form to find another art form. You know, just because you do Natyaramam a little differently, it doesn't become contemporary for me. You know, so yeah.
I think that this beautifully reflects how sure and strong you are in basics and your training, because the reason why I ask these questions is sometimes to not only bring out what your thoughts are, but also to educate a lot of people who have a confused idea of a lot of things. And I keep saying again and again that it's such a beautiful, perhaps any Indian dance, but for me, Bharatanatyam per se is such a beautiful framework that it is so flexible. At the same time, you can accommodate everything within it. But it is
Absolutely,
so,
Mridula.
yeah, it is so beautiful that anything can be represented. And you still have more to offer. That's how beautiful.
Yes, yes. I just don't understand when somebody says, "Oh, we are bored with the
Yeah,
Alaripu."
absolutely,
So,
absolutely.
I'm not bored yet. Maybe I'm still old-fashioned. But see, the good thing is that we have moved forward also. We are not, in the 1980s anymore. But that doesn't mean, see, your co-education, your co-upbringing, you don't need to compromise on those things.
Absolutely.
So these are the values that have stood you for 30, 40 years of teaching. So these are the principles of your life, so, and it's good to teach our young children these values too. So I think, like I said, there's a balance. So we are giving in most of the time. There are some things that we need to say, now enough.
Yeah, correct. Where you draw your boundaries, I think that is important.
Correct. Yeah.
But it's been so lovely talking to you, and just the clarity of thought and the way you present yourself. At the same time, the happiness in bringing people together. I think that's a lovely nature to have for a dancer. Not all dancers have that. So thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure talking to you. And I'm sure there are a lot more things we can talk about, which I would love to at some point of time. But thank you so much for taking time off and, saying that
Thank you, Mridula, for inviting
this
me.
journey.
I must say that I'm very lucky, because how many people get to do what they love in life?
Right.
So I think good karma is in play. Many blessings. And thank you for inviting me on Samvadanam again, and to the ICCR for co-branding this beautiful series that you have initiated. Wish you all the best and a wonderful continued journey in dance.
Thank you so much for those very heartfelt blessings. And I think no more than wishes, they are blessings. And thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Mridula.